All right. Let's say hello to our new speaker, Klondike, who will be presenting about his patch and fix methodology.
We started to say that we had a schedule. I thought that it was patch and fix.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, patch and fix.
Okay, but then I thought they had a schedule. Now my other talk, the one about public tender and security. So sorry about that. So patch and fix. Who of you is working with security nowadays in any way? Yeah, Tauro, you work with fucking security nowadays, so please raise your hand. Okay, I mean, you probably know by now that even if you are just a simple normal developer that does nothing, you are probably going to be working with security. In this talk, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I have learned in life. I have been working as a pen tester. I have been working as a CISO. Please don't kill me yet. And I have been learning has a lot of those experiences. So let's talk about the idea behind patch and fix. If you are a pen tester, you go, you find, say, 20 vulnerabilities on the system, you write a nifty report, and then you send it to your customer and forget about it. Yes? Then your customer will probably pick up the report, say, it's just too much, and anyways, when we have the requirement of doing a pen test, we don't even have to fix anything. He will just let it sit down and forget about everything. Any of you can relate to that situation? Has this happened to you? And then probably in 1 year from now, because they have to do recurrent pen tests, you will have to do another one for the same customer, find exactly the same 20 vulnerabilities you found the last time. No, this time probably will be 22, because you might actually find something that you didn't find the last time, and then send back your report and wait another year. This is a serious problem. This doesn't work so. I mean, you can keep doing this cycle, and that cycle is really lucrative, but why on earth would you want to pay for doing nothing at your problems? So what if we, as pen testers, could use a different approach? What if we just could sit down with our customer and tell them, well, you know, you have a cross-site scripting issue here. This means that anybody can modify your links, and then he can make your page look totally different, execute any code on the client side, and, well, totally mess up with your system and your users just by sending them this kind of links. And then you go and tell them, don't just tell that to the customer. You go and say, but you know, I think I can help your team sit down and fix it. Can you get me a meeting with them? And that is the idea that I am here to try to propose. I am going to try to convince you that we as people responsible for security should not just sit down in a passive way, reporting and pointing towards the moon. We should start telling people that, hey, we can help you get there. Let's talk a little bit about my experience as a CISO. When I started working as a CISO for a cryptocurrency exchange, I was feeling like, well, you can get an idea. You said to be a pen tester. Now I had to tell people how to fix security problems for real. It was a horrible, horrible experience. But then I saw the following. The people on my team, or well, in general on the whole company, were really responsible when you sat down with them, and instead of you saying, "Oh, security problem," you tell them, "Okay, you did this mistake. It's okay. I did this one too when I was younger and I was starting. How about you try to do things in this other way in order to fix them?" And maybe not this time, maybe not the second time, but usually at the third time, the developer started fixing problems all by himself. So my work was significantly lowered just by doing that. All of a sudden, I didn't just have to point to the moon, I just have to keep pointing them in the right direction. No more saying, this is a cross-site scripting with fact. Just telling them, okay, this is how you have to code in order to fix issues. So that is basically the idea behind what I call patch and fix. It's not just about letting things go by and pass and let time pass. It's about proactively trying to fix issues with the little power you have, which, believe me, is really little. Similarly, if you are a pen tester, if you go to your contact on the project, which is usually the technical lead, and tell them, hey, we found these issues. Okay, these ones are really hard to fix. You might need to wait. But for example, this cross-site scripting, it seems really easy with the frameworks you are using. You just need to make sure that your templates are properly scaped. Then maybe we can talk with your engineers to fix it. For you, the cost is going to be really little. For the company that is paying you, it's going to be really, really little because they have already paid you for doing the wall test before. They don't care about paying for a 2-hour meeting. But on the other hand, that can have a serious impact. And on the long run, it will make that they will take you more seriously next time that you have to write a report. And the reason why they will take you more seriously is because you will stop being a nuisance there, the security guy, and you will be, well, the security leader, to call it in some way. You will be there to lead the people. So my point, and the reason why I wanted to give you all this talk, is to try to convince you that we should not just sit down, write reports. We should not just sit down, report vulnerabilities to higher management, make risk management assessments that nobody's going to read. We should sit down and try to get, well, kickstart something in the companies on which we are working, or with which we are working. And that is basically the idea about PaF. So now that we have this cleared up, let's go and have a little bit more of an open meeting, since that we are not so many. Any of you feels like sharing his experiences as a pen tester, and we can try to see how we can improve them on the future? Or in general, as a security guy, person that works with security? Come on, this is the right place to go and say, I'm fucking frustrated. I have been telling them about this cross-site scripting, this SQL injection for the last 5 years. Nothing has been fixed. You don't need to give your name. It's anonymous. We can't even put you behind the screen. Okay, really? Nobody? Nobody feels like that? Okay, then I'm going to talk a bit. So, the company for which I was working as a CISO hired me because they knew that I was a security person, but they didn't have much of a clue of what my tasks were going to be. At the end, you know what was mainly my work at that company? It was sitting down with them and telling them, no, we don't need yet another firewall. We probably should focus on hardening our infrastructure first. The people were really paranoid. They wanted to deploy every single new thing they saw, which is a problem. But they didn't care about fixing the basics, which means that the risks will still remain. So it really sucked. But on the bright side, over time, they started relying on me, just by being pointed on the right direction and being explained correctly why things didn't need to be done that way, but the other way around. I feel a little bit uncomfortable today. It's as if I'm just talking for dead people. What happens? Do you want me to start singing or something? Yeah, that is probably because I'm still recovering from fucking pneumonia, you know. I know he said that I look like a walking dead, but that's because I am basically a walking dead. I am dying on the inside. You cannot see it, but believe me, I'm taking antibiotics. My next dose is in less than 1 hour, actually. Anyways, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about development. Who of you has been doing development before? Okay, it can be a hobby project. It just doesn't need to be professional. How many bugs or security issues did you have on the code that you guys wrote the first time? 5? Come on, raise your hand. 10? Okay, 100 or more? 50 or more? The whole code was a bug. Now think out the following thing. When you are given 2 different profiles, one that is going to cost you 3,000 euros per month and one that is going to cost you 1,000 euros per month, both of them able to do exactly the same work in your eyes, which one would you pick? Yeah, exactly. You will go for the 1,000 euros per month. And that is exactly the reason why we have fucking crappy code nowadays. I mean, most of the bigger companies tend to outsource to the cheapest contractor possible every single line of code that gets written by them. And that is the reason why they have so many security bugs. And that is the reason why, in general, sitting down with these people and helping them go and reach enlightenment and start writing proper code makes things work out at the end. So, well, that's basically my point with this talk. This is just a call from me to you to start preaching, saying the word. Don't just say, this is a vulnerability. Try to say who you could fix it. Don't just say, oh, your fucking SSH interface is open to the internet. You are puned. Yes.
Well, see, this is kind of happening already, and the reason why I'm saying that.
Can you get him a microphone?
Thank you. Yes, so the way I'm seeing it is that it's kinda happening already, and the reason why I'm saying kinda is that I'm doing security for a software development company, and we contract externals to pen test our platform. We get a report. I do engage with them. I talk specifically with them on each vulnerability and all that. I get the report. The report has specific recommendations on how to fix it for each finding, but I would say that's so it feels it's kind of there, and my biggest challenge is not telling or recommending how to fix. It's prioritizing compared to the other million new features that the CEO wants to have in there, and so my challenge right now is not that I'm seeing that we don't have a clear way to do it. It's more that I have to argue a lot on how we prioritize this.
Yes, brother, we feel your pain. Prioritization. Let's talk about prioritization.
Yeah.
So, how do we prioritize bugs? Well, we just throw them into a bag, say a lot, and then see which is the one that comes first. That is the one that we are going to solve for this development cycle. No. Yeah, exactly. So, the first thing you need to go and ask your testers when you get these really nifty reports is to ask them, okay, how hard do you think it will be to exploit this issue? And then you should ask them, which is the impact that this system is going to have on this issue is going to have on my system if it gets exploited? Does it mean that all the user accounts will be accessed? Does it mean that only a specific user account will be accessed after the user has to actually click a link? Does it mean that the whole system will be obliterated from the face of Earth, and even the backups will be so fucked up that I will not be able to use the system again and I will have to start from zero? So if you ask those questions, my dear brother, if you ask these questions, that is when you will start getting the answers you are looking for. Once you know how likely it is that somebody external to you can exploit it, because you know how hard the exploit it is to carry out, and what the impact is going to be on your system, you can use multiply both of the two values between 0 to 1, multiply by the cost of the issue being exploited on your system, and there you go. If the result you get is bigger than the amount of time that you expect or the cost that is going to have for you to develop that feature, you have a very compelling case for your CISO. You just sit down with him and tell him, you see, this is the probability that this is going to get exploited. This is the amount of damage that is going to cause. This is the money that this is going to cost. So in average, over a run of 10 years, we are going to have to spend this amount of money on it. Why not just do it now, and then we also avoid the bad publicity? So that way you can find the issues that have higher costs for your systems and higher costs for the company if they get exploited. We call that cost analysis. It's a really boring and interesting topic. But that was not exactly what I was expecting to talk about today. But thanks for coming up to us, really. Please, a round of applause for being brave enough to actually ask a question. Any other things that you guys want to discuss today? Come on. It's not every day you will have an idiot like me standing on a stage trying to help you out. Usually you will have to pay 120 euros per hour. 160 for short projects. Nobody, really? Come on, it's only 7:20. I was expecting that you guys had more questions and that this would be a little bit more of an open exchange. The company I'm working at. Sure, I can tell you everything about the company I'm working at.
Just to repeat the question for the live recording and all that, could you tell us a bit about the company you're working at and basically how you do security in there, what's your team size, and yeah, all that?
Well, I can tell you a few things about the companies I'm working at. Let's talk about this bank on a Caribbean country. You probably have heard about some famous papers coming from this country. So, well, what I'm doing there is that I am sitting down and I am helping them prioritize exactly which issues they should be fixed first. When we first got there, they had really nifty hardware. They had really cool Cisco switches, really cool, I think it was checkpoint firewalls and some other stuff like that. Everything with a very minimalistic configuration, to say the least. And well, as you guys, if you guys have been working with networking, you mean that minimalistic configuration is basically meant for functionality and not for security. So when the pentester got into that network, he basically managed to leak every single secret they had on the bank by performing a pretty simple man-in-the-middle attack. So I am trying to explain them how to set up things like ARP lists and so on their own equipment. It's not just telling them how to do it, it's also explaining them which things they should carry on first, because they have a shitload of things to fix now. That is one of the things I'm doing. The other thing I was doing before was sitting down at a cryptocurrency company and just be the security guy to call it in some way. If they had any question about security, they could probably reach me. And for people to reach me, they have to know that you exist. You have to actually be nice, go pick some candy and tell them, hey, for every single security problem you bring up, I'm going to give you some candy. That is from Hugo. That's not my idea, okay? And it works like a fucking charm. You just need to go and make sure that they are aware that you are not there to punish them. You are not there to make their life miserable. You are going to try to help them as much as you can in order to fix the issue. The most important thing is sitting down with these people and not just telling them, go and fix it. It's using a different approach. It's let's go and fix it together. Because if they see you that way, if you are the security responsible, for example, of the security of a small development company, when people have questions about security, they will see you on that mentor role, and they will come up to you at all times to ask you whichever question it is, no matter how stupid it might seem, because they know that you are not going to laugh at them. And that is also part of the philosophy that I am trying to convey today. Trying to tell you that no question is stupid enough. You have to just be nervy. It doesn't matter whether you are the security pentester, the security lead, or the security champion of your team, the chief information security officer of a big company, or just an external consultant. If people notice that you are reachable, they will reach you. Because, you know, here is the second thing. People usually prefer to spend 5 minutes with you in trying to figure out how to fix this issue that's being known as the fucking household that introduced yet another security bug on the platform. So when they see that it pays off to actually use your services, they will actually do that. Not sure if that kind of answers your question about what I am doing, how I am doing it. So, well, as for this bank in Central America, they will probably call me at some point, telling me what is the progress and what they need from me in order to be able to continue. I haven't traveled to America yet. You don't know how fucking happy I am of being able to do this remotely. It's hot as fuck in there. Any questions? Any other things that you guys want to raise? Come on! Okay, I think I'm going to ask you a question then, Gentauros, as you have come to talk. What do you do as a software developer in order to prevent security problems? And don't just tell me I use Haskell everywhere.
So I will say, come to my talk tomorrow at 2 o'clock and you will hear about it. Thank you for putting me up to that.
Come on, give us a little taster first.
Well, a little taste is, so I've been working for about 2 years in this kind of software development where you can actually limit the side effects at compile time. So it's like either you comply with the design made by the people who know what the software needs to do, and if you don't comply with that design, the compiler will not build your binaries, and if you cannot build the binaries, you cannot ship your binaries. So that's a way to ensure that you don't introduce misbehaviors by using other people's libraries, because they can actually do a lot of nasty stuff under the hood, which most tooling used today don't handle. So this is what I've been working on, and I will not go into details tomorrow on my framework, but I will show how everybody can do it. So I hope to see people there more than today.
Thank you. So, well, as you can see, there are other ways in which we can also use this kind of approaches in order to try to prevent mistakes to be introduced. We can use a shitload of unitary testing also in order to try to detect security issues. And that is basically what being proactive is about. It's about trying to set up measures that will prevent bugs from happening before they even happen. It's about trying to make sure that people know, for example, that they are not supposed to put variables in the middle of database queries. And let's face it, I have done it. I have done it like 20 times. I am a fucking sinner. I have done it probably 31. I remember the first time that somebody came up and said, yeah, well, you have an SQL injection. I can drop your whole database. And I was like, bullshit. This is used an integer constant. Yes, but you are not even setting up the right type. I was using PHP back then. So I can just put whichever string I want here and it will work. And yes, I have been there, and that is the reason why I'm being so explicit. Try to teach the other people that you work with. Try to make sure that they come and reach to you when there is security problems, if you want to see security problems solved. So, well, I think that's probably it. I mean, you maybe want to share some of your inputs? You really haven't faced any security issues at all?
No, I just do development, so...
You do development. If you do development, please share your experiences. How do you deal with people that is stupid like me, that goes into a stage telling other people to be proactive?
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't deal with the customers, so I don't...
I'm not saying about customers. I'm talking about, you know, inspirational speakers that just get into a stage to tell you, you can beat a 10 times developer. Raise your hands.
I don't know.
Okay. Have you had any security issues that you had trouble fixing when you sorry, when you started?
No.
Really? You wrote really good code on your first goes?
No, I usually write private code. So
Huh?
it's not, I don't really write production code, so it's
Okay.
one-off. We'll see.
Touché. Okay, let's try with this really nice guy over there. He seems to be having a lot of fun time. You seem to be really enjoying the talk, so yeah, that guy over there. So, come on, brother, what do you do?
Well, I'm a security consultant in this large company, and
A security what?
a security consultant.
Okay.
So I'm mainly just the grunt with the tools, well, the biggest problem I have is with patching.
Pattern?
Patching.
Ah, yeah,
Patching.
with patterns.
Yeah.
Patch handling.
When there's an update for a third-party software on a Linux server, of course, like Apache. And the scanners pick up a lot of vulnerabilities, but we can't do anything about them because Linux haven't okayed the latest version of the Apache server. So that's my biggest problems.
Okay, let's
nothing
talk
much
about-
yet anyway.
Let's talk about your problems then. Let's talk about patching.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that fucking nuisance. You are probably really well aware that as we are speaking right now, there is probably more than 1,000 different bots that are trying to exploit every single one of the issues on your servers. If they succeed, you might know or you might not know. If you know, then things are really, really awful. Here's the thing. How much do you think it takes for somebody to develop a specific vulnerability that works reliably on other servers? Okay, guys, how long do you think it's from patch release to first vulnerability? And we are not speaking, of course, of a 0-day vulnerability here. Usually 15 days or more? Come on, you know it's 20 days or more? 10 days, 5 days, 1 day, 5 hours? Come on, how much do you think it is?
I think it's a couple of days. At most.
It's usually a few weeks.
A few weeks.
Yes, a few weeks before you actually start seeing, unless it's a really interesting vulnerability and really known like this, for example, blue key vulnerability, it usually takes a little bit more than 3 weeks until you actually see bots able to exploit it. Take into account that bots and general botnets are handled in exactly the same way in which you would handle your cloud services. You first do a test on a small amount of units, make sure that you don't break anything, that everything keeps working as it is, and then when you have properly tested it, then you use deploy to every single other unit on the botnet in order to try to grow. And between the time that it takes to develop the patch, the time that it takes to do the testing, and the time that it takes to do the development, the deployment, you can see that it's probably 3 weeks or something like that at least. Keep in mind that most often these people actually have somebody like this guy over here or that guy over there sitting down and writing their stupid exploit code. Because it's not that often that you get full exploit code that allows you to do remote code execution anymore. You need to figure out what the vulnerability is and figure out a way to exploit it. So, do you feel better knowing that you now have 3 weeks in order to test your patches before you apply them?
Well, the problem is that it might take a lot more time than just a couple of weeks before the correct patch comes out, because the before Linux okays the.
Can you please hear you?
Yeah, sorry.
Perfect.
Sorry, it needed to be a lot closer. The problem is that the third party software won't get patched at all. The Linux won't okay the patch. It takes a while, and in that time, it can easily go past a couple of months.
Well, here is the thing. If it will take you a couple of months to patch your server, it's not your fault.
No, I'm aware of that.
So what you should try to do in that case is that you should try to focus on having, for example, backup solutions that you can use in order to restore your system if things go wrong. Try to keep your systems properly hardened in order to reduce the possibility of a successful exploit. And in general, try to make sure that the impact of the patch being missing on the system is as small as possible. So, for example, if you have firewalls, you can try to use indicator of compromise in order to try to find out if somebody is trying to exploit that vulnerability against you. And that is taking a more proactive approach. I mean, instead of just trying to sit down and wait for 3 months until things are fixed, see what is within your little parcel of power in order to both fix and prevent issues from happening in the future.
Yeah, we are not relying on just the perimeter. We are scanning continuously inside.
But don't worry, that is completely okay. I mean, you can really trust your perimeter as long as you don't have people bringing computers from the outside.
Thanks.
Graf. Give him the microphone. Give Graf the microphone. You were late, now you have to talk with us. We are talking about security problems and how we handle them at work. So give Graf the microphone, come on. Okay, anybody else wants to ask some questions or try to share some insights? Well, I have still half an hour until my next medication takes, so let's take things a little bit more private for now. Thanks a lot for coming, and well, I hope that my stupid talk inspired you a little bit at least.